We roll on with the Conference USA tip-off show, and we head down to Miami, talking some FIU women's hoops. Jessica Burks-Wiley in her 6th season leading that program. Last year, they were 7-11 in conference play. They bring back Paris Atkins, almost 14 points per game, second-team all-conference a season ago, preseason all-conference this year. There is a lot of changes, though, within that roster. 9 new players on the squad, and they're picked to finish 6th in the preseason poll this year. And with that, we welcome in Jessica Burks-Wiley, Judith Valero joining us as well. And guys, we appreciate you making some time for us today. Coach, let's start with this. You bring back Paris Atkins, had such a great season a year ago. How can she be even more impactful for you this year? What was the focus for her maybe this offseason leading into this year?
Well, the biggest focus for Paris was, one, continuing to be who she is. You know, when someone that you have a player of that magnitude, you don't want them to feel like they have to transform as much as they just have to continue to evolve in the right direction. And so that was the number one goal is, you know, hey, continue to be who you are. As far as on the court, we talked a lot about her going left. I mean, she's probably one of the most deadliest guards going right, but you make her go left and it's like you know, space jammed her a little bit. So that was definitely a big focus for us is, hey, we got to make sure you're going left. She's shooting the three incredibly well now, but the biggest focus for Paris for us was off the court of her being one of our bigger returners along with Judith is leadership. You know, you've been here, you know what it looks like, and I mean, you talk about a season that was trial by fire last year. That's what it was for all of our kids that are returners, and so that was a big thing for her is, hey, we've been through a toughest season as they come, and we came out, you know, still standing and still fighting. You got to make sure that when our newcomers come in here, they understand the standards so we can continue in the right direction.
Coach, one of the things we've come to know about you is that you bring in some great players. You have traditionally done that. I know you've had some injuries in the past, and we don't always get to see it on full display. But tell us about some of these newcomers. I heard some Bahamians are playing some great basketball right now. But just in general, who are some of these new faces that we're going to see?
No, I mean, hit to appear really well right there. And Rima Collins and Danica Lightborn, you know, 2 kids from a 45-minute flight away that we've been fortunate enough to have land back in the 305. 2 kids that I think have a chance to be very dynamic for our program and very dynamic in the league. So I'm really excited for them. Both coming from 2 very storied programs, and so I'm looking forward to them being the second chance you for them and being able to really showcase who they are. You know, I think that's something our program has done a great job. Judith being a great example of that, of, you know, giving a kid a bigger platform to showcase and get back to who they are. And so I'm really excited for those 2 to be able to do that. So definitely starting off there. We've got a couple post players that I'm really, really excited about being able to give us a little bit more reinforcement inside to be able to bolster that a little bit more. And then I'll keep the rest kind of tucked away. You guys know me, I don't like showing my cards too much.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to see it come November 3rd, but no, those 2 have done a great job. So I'm really, really excited to see with the rest of the group as they continue to grow and move in the right direction, what they can do for us.
Classic coach move, not giving away too much there. That's right. Judith, with 9 new players on the roster, how as a returner have you gone about kind of trying to build that chemistry and get to know them on the court and off the court?
So I couldn't be here for summer because I was with the national team playing the Euro Cup. So I was a little scared at first because I didn't know what was going on here with the teammates and everything. So, but after when I get here, so I saw the good chemistry that we had and the good vibes that we had with everyone, and they actually helped me a lot to join them too. So, yeah.
And Jude's being modest. Jude is probably one of the best social butterflies you could have on your team.
Wow.
And so, you know, I know her being away was scary for us too, because we're like, man, this is a kid that is just a magnet, you know, has a magnet personality. And so as soon as she came back and, you know, as she mentioned, the girls, you know, the vibes were good. We were never worried about her coming in. She's actually done a great job of coming in and not just obviously mixing well, but she's enhanced, you know, everything on and off the court for us really well too.
I believe it. And Judith, obviously, we don't want you to get you in trouble with your coach by answering this question. I'm only going to ask for one, but what player has impressed you the most in this early part of the season?
I would say Adama.
Okay.
We call her AD because
that was not an approved. That was not on the approved list.
we play against each other in Spain before we came here to play college. And these past 2 years, I didn't see her playing. When I saw her playing in the practices, I was so impressed how much she improved. So I was thinking about it.
Yeah, Coach, last thing, I guess, as you just take a look at your program, what do you feel like is the next step for you guys? What does that look like in your mind?
I mean, I think it's probably the biggest elephant in the room is winning it all. You know, I think the last couple of years we've been really knocking at the door of it. You know, we've been really getting so close, you know, and we've been so right there, you know. And so I think with so much change, obviously within our team, but so much change in the league, you know. You mentioned us having 9 newcomers. I'm like, well, what team in our league doesn't have that many?
Yeah, right.
You know, at this point, you know, consistency is at a premium right now. And so that's where I'm really excited with, you know, so much change in our program and so much change, you know, obviously just in the league. I think it leads the league to be wide open. And so I'm really excited with the group that we have here that I think we'll be able to really get back to our identity as far as that fast-paced pressing, you know, just really dictating the tempo. But I'm excited too because every team now is going to be a new challenge. You know, there's so many faces. You know, I look through our league right now and I'm like, oh man, that kid graduated or this kid's there now. And so it's like, oh wow, like the playing field is probably in our league as even as it's been in a long time. And so I'm really excited to be able to go out there and just really put a great display of our program out there, but continue to move the needle. But moving the needle means, we want to put numbers up in the rafters.
Well, Coach, we're excited to see all those players you told us about and the ones you didn't tell us about. We're excited to see them, too, when the season begins here in a few weeks. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep. Well, Kelly, as you look at this team, listen, the portal, transfers, it's the name of the game. We're going to talk about it all day long. Who are some key people you feel like they were able to add that are going to take them perhaps to that next level?
Well, both names I'm going to say they both did say, so I'm not, again, showing anybody's cards.
Yeah.
Rayma Collins, though, a transfer from Ole Miss, is coming into this program, and she is a great She plays with a ton of pace, a really good shooter. Actually, I've even heard that she might even be able to beat Paris Atkins maybe in a three-point shootout. I think they're going to have to, settle that on the court. That's right. Yeah. But, this is, I think that's important for them, certainly to get somebody with experience. And then Adama Bajikole is another player that she has started almost 70 games in her career so far, coming off of junior college. And so a lot of experience. I think that backcourt is going to be tough, but I'm excited about some interior players.
I was going to say, we heard Coach talk about some reinforcements in the post. Tell us about some of those that you're.
Well, you lose Izzy Nadabo, and that's significant because, first of all, she is the rim protector, takes up space inside, she can finish. But you've got legitimate size in there. Astrid, and I'm going to Mukulumpe, I believe is what it is. It is a legit 6'4", great around the basket, can step out and shoot. And then Selena Romero, a little bit easier to say, but a little taller too. 6'5" inside. So, Coach, I don't know what she's doing, but she continues to bring in those big players that have that paint presence. She develops them so well. She has a great staff around her. And, every year I think there's a high anticipation for what FIU is going to do. Of course, they've run into some injuries, and we know about that. But when, as she said, this is kind of the year, I think, that she's looking to surprise some people.
Well, you keep bringing in great talent, as you said, and sooner or later you feel like it's going to take care of itself. Right. And maybe, like you said, maybe this will be the year. We turn now to the FIU men on the other side. And it was a frustrating campaign last season for Jeremy Ballard's squad. 3-15 in Conference USA. They lost 89% of their scoring from a season ago. So fresh start. A lot of new faces. You're picking up on a trend throughout the conference, but a lot of new players with opportunity to step into a big role for this squad. Corey Stevenson being one of them, coming from CSU Bakersfield. They also are a team that is desperately looking to improve from beyond the arc. A team that with that fast pace and tempo that they play with, it'll be exciting to see how all these new pieces fit into Coach Ballard's offense. All right, excited to talk to head coach Jeremy Ballard, Corey Stevenson as well. Coach, thanks for making some time for us. Listen, we just talked about new roster. You got a whole bunch of new guys in your program. Some could look at that and say, oh, what a challenge. Knowing you, I have a feeling you're looking at it in terms of the potential that this new group has. What have you seen so far? What is the potential for this roster?
Yeah, I mean, this new group has been so invigorating from day one when they reported in June. They've just brought so much energy. And I've told them, maybe we've had games where days where we didn't shoot it great, or days where maybe we were a little sloppy with the ball. But we have literally not had one bad day in terms of being locked in terms of minding our ABCs. Our ABCs are always be competing, and nobody reflects that more than the guy I got here with me, Corey Stevenson. And I just love the energy that they bring every day, the attitude they bring every day, their mentality. It's truly a joy to be around. And the people around here in Panther Nation are going to be really excited about this new squad.
Coach, last time we talked with you down in Huntsville, you were telling us, guys, I'm dying. I need some threes. I just need a little more shooting from beyond the arc. Were you able to address that over the summer with some of these new guys that you brought in?
Yeah, we really want to target two things in this recruiting class, and that was character and skill. And with every player we brought in, we want to make sure that they check those boxes and helped us make an upgrade in those areas. So we definitely got guys that can put the ball in the basket. And most importantly, we got guys that truly care about winning and truly care about each other. And you mentioned earlier that, it's basically an entirely new squad. Yeah. You would not think it if you were around these guys. These guys act like they've been playing with each other for 10, 15 years. And so that's great. And, seeing the ball go in the basket certainly makes you feel better as a coach and helps you be a better coach.
Yeah, well, Corey, let's talk to you a little bit. You come into this program, you're in there, you're around all these new guys you're playing with for the first time. I guess I want to know, who are some of these other guys that you step on the court with, you're like, all right, this guy can go a little bit. He's going to be a factor for us.
I don't really want to single nobody. I think I like all my teammates, man, equally, man. All my guys, we all come together. We all, I feel like we've been knowing each other for multiple years, and it's just been a short amount of time. So I think we all come together real good, and that's good for us.
Corey, FIU is a long way from Bakersfield. What got you to FIU? Was it tell us a little bit that process? Was it coach, his vision, style of play? What got you to FIU?
The style of play I like. They play fast, defensive, and it's close to home. It's close to Alabama. We play in Alabama, and it's in Miami. Miami better than Bakersfield.
Coach, last thing for you. You bring in all these guys, and we know what your system has been. You wreak havoc with what you do. How well do you feel like these guys are adapting to that, or are you having to feel like you have to adjust any to the personnel that you've brought in?
Well, we certainly want to target guys who we feel like are a great fit for us culturally, both on the court and off of it. And, Corey fits this mold. Actually, as fate would have it, we played in the MTE last year and played against Bakersfield. Yeah. So we got to see Corey up close and personal for multiple games. And we all, as a staff, watched him in person and in preparation leading up to that and was like, man, he'd be a perfect fit for our system and style. And obviously, we didn't get a chance to see everyone who we brought in play in person in the same way that we saw Corey play, but we recruited them all with the mind of being a great fit for who we are and what we want to be. Obviously, these are new guys. They all bring new strengths to the table. So we certainly make our own adjustments. It's not necessarily cookie cutter, but, just in terms of us wanting to be fast, furious, and physical, all of these guys fit that mentality, fit that identity.
Well, Coach, your teams are always fun to watch. We're excited to see how these new players fit into that system. Should be a fun year. Thank you guys for spending a little time with us.
Thank you so much.
Now, as we talk about it, listen, not a lot of new faces, a lot of roster turnover. But Coach Ballard, we've gotten to know him well enough to know this is a guy that builds culture. He seems to get guys that buy into that system. What do you see in terms of this team moving into the year?
Same thing. It's his system and him as a person. Yeah. Guy, he's a player's coach. Guys love to come in and play for him. They like to play in that system. And in return, he gives his guys a lot of trust. Yeah. He lets them make reads and take gambles. And that is a hard system then to kind of prepare for. And, again, it maybe hasn't translated to wins, but they've been very close. They're always competitive. I'm always impressed by how hard his kids fight. They don't worry about the scoreboard. They don't worry about their record. And, it's just a testament to kind of what Coach Ballard's doing down there. No matter year after year, they're going to come at you and give you their best shot.
And if they found three-point shooting in the portal, that certainly changes what they could be this season, because it was a struggle last year from beyond the arc.
Absolutely. And again, they're one of these teams that's going to create turnovers. They like run-outs and transition if they can turn defense into offense. And then you couple that with, if they can get on the half court when they have to play a little slower, if they can move the ball around, get some threes, you never know what they could be. Could be a little surprise down in the 305.
They certainly could be a surprise this season. All right, we're going to step aside. When we come back, we're going to check in with the folks down at Jacksonville State. What are the expectations for the Gamecocks this season? We'll find out coming up next.